Today we're taking a look at the party game Blob Party. Fantastic title. Just incredible. This is for 4 to 8 players from WizKids, and the premise is very simple. You're a little blob. What kind of blob, you ask? This kind of blob. Well, that's not actually a good blob. Give me a second. Green blob's got some work to do. Yeah, can't compete with a red blob. Now that's a blob. That's a friggin' blob. You're a blob and you're very lonely. You're so lonely because you're just a single blob. Wouldn't it be amazing if you could just smash yourself together with another blob and make a mega blob? And wouldn't it just be incredible if you could do that with everybody around the table to make a super blob? Oh, my eyes are falling off. There we go. That's Blob Party. Smash yourselves together in this cooperative party game before the end of 7 rounds. Well, how do you smash yourselves together? Every round there's going to be a word and a whole big stack of words and a category, a much smaller stack of categories. You're going to flip up a word in a category. There's this that says games and ice. Then every blob will write down one thing on their little blob. This blue blob's going to write something down, and we're going to play right now. Think of something that you would write down for games and ice. So I'm going to write something down. Don't peek, okay? Don't try to push the camera angle. You can see my horrible handwriting, which is why I type like Mavis Beacon. And then everybody's going to commit, and we're going to say 3, 2, 1, reveal. Anyone who has written the same thing, did you say Endless Winter? I feel like Dora the Explorer right now. See? Then we would get to smash our little blobs together. If we don't have the same thing, we're obviously not vibing on the blob hive mind, so we can't smash together. Presuming you and I smashed it together, now we become a little bit of a team. We only put one word in moving forward. The goal of the game is for everybody to have formed themselves into the super mega blob by the end of... That didn't erase very well. Well, you can use paper towel or your thumbs by the end of the game to win. I much prefer flipping up these things blind. The original rules in the game say that like a category comes up and you get 3 things. And I find if you get 3 things, the chances are that you're going to be able to, like nature, cold, snow. I would much rather put nature, telephone, and pick things that feel so at odds with each other. I find that's where this game shines. This game is a pretty fun game, a really solid concept, and honestly, these little blobs do so much of the heavy lifting. Like, these are the reason to play the game. The inclusion of these blobs is the thing that made this game successful and makes it a game that people want to play versus a game that, like, mechanically, if you were playing it, it's kind of like reverse Just One. You know? I've heard it compared to Green Team Wins, but I've never played that game, so I don't know. But it's the fact that you can just get a little blob of your Play-Doh and you can play around with it. And the Play-Doh's held up surprisingly well, which is important because it is the most important thing. And then you can get your blob eye and create your little person. That's half of the fun. I find with the rules as written, they don't end up being that challenging. And so basically whenever I play, if I'm playing with the rules as written, I just try to pick the most challenging thing because I think it's more fun. I think it's funnier that way. But when you get cards that really sync up and that are obvious, it can be not a lot of fun. Then again, the beauty of this game is that sometimes you think things will be super obvious, like big art. Well, that's a tough one. Maybe I'd say, okay, you got yours? We're going to play together. Do you have yours? Pause it if you don't, because I'm about to say my answer. Quick, get to the computer! Oh no, big art, I said. Tom Hanks art! Whatever song Tom Hanks plays on the piano, that's my response. No, I'd probably say, I don't know, the Statue of Liberty? That's a big piece of art. It's a big piece of a peace offering. But sometimes they're so obvious that it makes the game a little less of a challenge. But, you know, if that's... I just threw it off the table. I was trying to catch it. There we go. That's what I was supposed to do. Sometimes it's so obvious that it isn't fun. But when it is less obvious, the less obvious it is, the more fun this game can be. I think it's for sure a solid game. I think by now you know if you have a party game like this, I think it's definitely fun. I think it's definitely a good one for younger kids as well, especially with the Play-Doh. I'm including myself in that capacity. My girlfriend's nephew, he's 8 now, turning 8, and he's requested it. He really enjoys it. He also enjoys like Werewolf. and psychic pizza delivers go to a ghost town. Those are sort of his top. But the forming of the blobs is such a fun gimmick, and the rounds don't last that long, that it's not a bad one to pull out. I wish there were more category cards, but there's a very simple thing to do, is just pick 2 words. Lightning Beach. How do you combine those two, right? Maybe umbrella is what I would put, because if there's lightning at a beach, it might hit the umbrella. I don't know. And so just using those words and kind of going to the harder level, that potentially puts it on par for like heavier gamers to enjoy. As the rules are written, it's a bit basic. But yeah, definitely fun enough. In terms of score, it's like a 3 out of 10. No, that's not right. This is like a 3 out of 5. It's like a 3 out of 5. It's a good game. It's not one that I'm going to actively request. I think there are better party games out there. I think Wavelength is better than this in terms of trying to get on the same vibe as someone. But I think this plays quicker. And I think this, you get to be a blob where you smash into each other. Like, I don't know how often I can say it, how much more I need to repeat it. You get to be a blob with a googly eye. Like, come on. But like mechanically, in terms of party games, it wouldn't be the first thing that I would reach for, but it has had a really solid success rate with younger kids that I've played it with, for sure, and has been actively requested quite a few times. So if this sounds like something for you, check it out. Fun little concept, super small box, easy to travel with. Okay, I'm sorry, I need to point this out. This example, when you have food and green, would you say apple, or would you say broccoli? You'd say broccoli, or you'd say lettuce. Because statistically, there are so many more red apples. There's one green apple. It's called a green apple. I know it's called a Granny Smith, but it's called green apple. And then there's a whole slew of red apples. You know what doesn't have multiple colors in it? Broccoli. Okay? Justice for green blob. That's what I have to say. Justice for green blob. You can see how this game can be fun. You get so involved in people's answers. And it plays up to 8 people. You could probably play more. I mean, who cares? It's Blob Party. You can play 1 million people and just try to form together in a big hive mind over 7 rounds. You would need more Play-Doh, but you could do it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. My name's Chris George. I don't have a catchphrase. But if you're a little blob out there and you're looking to be absorbed into someone's heart, you let me know. Because we're going to say a word together on 3, okay? And if it's the same word, it's just gonna be 1 word. I gotta think about what the funniest word is. Too late. No, we're gonna say 1 word on 3, and if it's the same one, well, we're going to be legally joined together forever. Okay? This is for my blobs out there. This is for my sweet little blobs. My sweet little blobs. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Broccoli. I gave it away already. Come on.